Good morning. Bob Sanborn, President and CEO of Children at Risk, and we're here today to talk about the state of San Antonio's children and a recent report that came out on the Children's Health Initiative. I am from Children at Risk. We're an statewide advocacy group with offices all over the state. I personally live in Houston, but we have a good group. Mary Gar is here, President and CEO of Family Service, Enrique Mata, who's from El Paso, from the Meadows Mental Health Institute, and Dr. Carmen Valdez is the Dean of Research and Partnerships at the University of Texas in San Antonio. Briefly, very briefly, because I know we have a couple of press here, I love coming to San Antonio just because there's so much positivity, so much focus on what a great community this is. And but one of the things that we understand is that when you look at San Antonio in its entirety, what you see is that we have about 63% of all of our families are low-income families. And that includes the entirety, even the wealthy communities that we all know about. When you look at the whole thing, we have a lot of children that are growing up in low-income families. And so as we did this report, the focus on pediatric vital signs, looking at, we wanted to look to see what could we do to change things like food insecurity, childhood obesity, mental healthiness, if you will, of children, kindergarten readiness. These are all signs that we wanted to monitor and see what could we do as a community to change those things. And one of the key things coming out of the report is that San Antonio is a place that's very open to partnerships. And we were very encouraged by this whole idea that partnerships are real important. And this really came across within the nonprofit community. I think the other thing that's important to understand, though, is that collaboration and partnerships has to happen with the public sector as well, with our public leaders, but also within philanthropy. Everyone needs to be on board for these types of things. And it's not something that we see around the state always in terms of nonprofits collaborating, philanthropy collaborating, and the public sector. And it's important when we think about the future of our children, when we think about how our community can be better, that we all act in unison, that we all act together to make things better. And so we're very proud of this report in terms of focusing on those partnerships and the idea that if we all act together, we can start to move the needle in San Antonio. Two other quick things that I think are important to mention is that we live in a time where we have extra challenges, if you will. One of those is the immigration challenge. We live in a time where the Latino community and any immigrant community is sort of feeling threatened, where we see that we are demonizing entire communities, and the stress levels on those communities and on Latino children and children of immigrants is tremendous. And so it's something that we need to pay a lot of attention to as we move forward. And it's not something that we're going to change politically in Texas anytime real soon, but it is something that in terms of family well-being, we're going to have to pay a lot of attention to. The other thing is that we're seeing a lot of nonprofit communities struggle because of threats of federal cuts or federal cuts indeed. And it's an especially tough challenge for a lot of our communities. I'll take a moment of personal privilege to say also this. We live in a political system where we can vote and we can change things. But when you look at the data in Texas, one of the things that you see is that we are one of the leaders in the nation of those that are eligible to register to vote and don't register to vote. Indeed, we're the only one that leads in both these categories, leading in the area of those that are already registered but don't vote, and those that are eligible to register and don't register. And so when we lead in those categories, what we see is that there are large categories of people that should be voting. And two groups sort of are part of that. One is young people that should be voting in larger numbers and haven't been, and the other is Latinos. And we have to understand that if just a few more in any of those categories voted, things would change. And so we have to use our voice. This is what democracy is all about, is using that voice. It's especially important in the state of Texas. Let me introduce Mary Gar. She's the President and CEO of Family Service, and she can talk a little bit more about what we're doing here today. Mary?
Bob, thank you. Good morning and welcome. I am the President and CEO of Family Service, and the reason why we're having this kind of forum is to help to elevate the conversation and bring better understanding to what the real challenges and underlying root cause needs are of the children and families that we all work so hard to serve. When we're looking at those who are struggling, too often there are root cause, often generational challenges that are preventing them from being able to move forward in life and create those opportunities for life success. So we work within our own programs and services and partner, as Bob said, across our sectors to ensure that we can work on addressing root causes of poverty and food insecurity, housing instability, with that all economic instability, also to address the opportunities for access to high quality education from early childhood through adult learning. Also access to health care, physical health, mental health, health literacy, nutritional literacy, as Bob talked about, and then ensuring that people have the opportunity to live in safe, affordable homes and in strong, safe neighborhoods with that built environment and supportive structure to serve them and their families, and then to have that strong social and community context so that when they need resources, they know how to access them and feel comfortable and safely being able to do so without fear of repercussion, and also how they can feel that they can be stable, strong, secure, contributing valuable members of their own communities and not feel left out, isolated, and alone. All of that occurs across sectors. Too often we leave the burdens to our schools for education, to our healthcare systems to provide the healthcare and make that magic fix on people's health. Also then on the nonprofit world, that is so much of a valuable foundational element for the communities to help our communities be able to thrive. It's more than just those sectors, it's also the local government services out there, the business sector, because they have such an impact on the ability to have economy and employees that are able to do the work that are trained and able to do so. And then also, as Bob said, that philanthropy, where do the dollars come from? So many nonprofits, they bring in dollars from outside their local communities because local communities can't raise enough on their own. There are many challenges in our current landscape. They existed before the pandemic, they existed, before the last couple of years, they're going to exist going forward, but we have a lot of uncertainty we need to address, which means all of us partnering together is more important now than ever. We deliberately bring in experts for this forum from around our state to show that San Antonio is not in this alone. We face similar challenges, similar needs, but also similar opportunities to be able to look at best practices and to work together and be a stronger, bigger, better voice to help collectively improve the health and long-term outcomes for our children and families, and therefore be able to break those intergenerational cycles and make our communities that much stronger, because that's what our families and children deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, very much. I want to bring up Enrique Mata, and then following him, Carmen Valdez. You guys don't need to speak as long as Mary and I, but I do want to get you in here. Enrique is Executive Director of the Paso del Norte Center at Meadows Mental Health Policy Institute. Come on in.
Thank you, Dr. Mata. My opportunity here, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And what I'm hoping to show is that cultivating collaboration among your partners in the region can bring lasting impact into the community. In this day and age, we do see that mental health has become a priority for folks. Folks are understanding better that you have to get mental health as part of a primary care setting. More importantly, right in front of the people where they need it, when they need it. And our hope is that we can show that cutting edge models of collaborative care, programs and policies that we have to improve the access to care for mental and emotional well-being will prevent crises, decrease the number of tragedies in our communities, and help us to promote an overall emotional well-being that keeps us functioning and improves our physical and overall health. So that's what I'm hoping to share today, and hoping to share also those examples of philanthropy, government, education, private sector, and nonprofit working together on a unified voice to create lasting change.
Enrique, gracias. Thank you so much. I want to bring up Dr. Carmen Valdez. She's Associate Dean of Research and Partnerships, relatively new post out there at the University of Texas, San Antonio. Dr. Valdez, come on.
Thank you very much. As others have said, San Antonio has a tremendous opportunity given its collaborative spirit, the number of organizations that are doing really important work for community health. But the challenges that we face are very complex, and often what we see, not only in San Antonio, but in other cities, is that an organization is focusing on, let's say, housing insecurity in one part of the city, another is focusing on food insecurity in a different part of the city, and another one yet focusing on mental health, let's say. And that's a missed opportunity, even though, you know, we do that work and we do it often with very limited resources. But the missed opportunity is that people who are experiencing housing insecurity are also experiencing mental health issues and food insecurity and other challenges. And so thinking about how to collaborate strategically and intentionally from the beginning, and possibly more from a place-based model, meaning focusing on a particular part of the city, a zip code or a specific neighborhood, and working with the community holistically, rather than in a specialized and siloed manner. The other point that I want to make is, others have already spoken about the importance of bringing philanthropy, business, policymakers into partnerships, but I want to emphasize the importance of bringing the people who are closest to the challenges, and that is the residents themselves. So bringing them also into partnerships very strategically and from the beginning, so that the work that we do collaboratively includes their voice, their experience, and also we often make the assumption that community members are passively waiting to be rescued, and that's not true. They have been working for many years and from one generation to another to address the challenges that they face, and so bringing their voice, their experience is going to be critical to developing strategies that can be sustained over time and that can actually, you know, shift the balance of power so that people feel empowered. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you guys very much. Also at the, not going to speak, but she's going to speak at the thing, is our, out of Yale, is Julia Rosenberg, a pediatrician. Dr. Rosenberg will be here as well, speaking part of the day today. So thank you all very much. Carrie and Sochi, if you guys want to come up and do some questions, that'll be good.